Hello guys, this is part 2 of the lecture series Chronology and Analysis Naga History. If you haven't watched part 1 of this lecture, you can check it from the description link below. Continuation with the previous lecture, in 1978, 9 of September, Naga People's Movement for Human Rights is born for reasons which most of you know, as there were severe human rights violations in Naga Hills back then. In the campaign of mass genocide by India in the Naga Hills, thousands of Nagas were killed in cold blood, rape, torture, arrest, detention, burning down of homes, villages, bombing towns and cities, concentration camps, abduction, and all the inhuman atrocities were inflicted on the Naga people by the released Indians. All these atrocities were carried out by Indians for just one reason, that Nagas refused to join the Indian Union. Now, Naga People's Movement for Human Rights, this movement was formed with the following objectives. This movement also stood against Indian black laws such as Armed Forces Special Powers Act, Disturbed Area Act, Nagaland Security Regulation Act, Assam Maintenance of Public Order Act, etc. Now, in the part 1 of this lecture, we have seen this agreement and this contentment within NNC or FGN on the signing of the Shillong Accord by few sections of Naga nationalists. As we have discussed in the previous lecture, the declaration of martial law by the supporters of Shillong Accord and Isaac Enmuiva kept under house arrest for opposing the Shillong Accord. In 1979, 12 of March, the military council again convened the Naga National Assembly in Lainong region and reformed the leadership of Ezat Viso while denouncing the leadership of Isaac Enmuiva. In this assembly, martial law was lifted and civil authority was reinstated or regained. In this assembly elected the following leaders by denouncing the leadership of Isaac Enmuiva. SS Kaplang was elected the president of FGN. Now, SS Kaplang knew the truth and knowing that signing or supporting the Shillong Accord was a big mistake for the Naga National Movement and the Nagas. So right after he assumed the office as president of FGN, he aligned himself with Isaac Enmuiva in opposing and condemning the Shillong Accord. He immediately ordered to eliminate all the NNC and FGN leaders responsible for the martial law declaration and also for the signing of the Shillong Accord. Later in 1979 of March, Isaac Enmuiva led NNC FGN clash with Burmese army in Langnok village, and in this confrontation over more than 50 Burmese troops were wiped out, and it was a total victory for the Nagas. In 1980, 29 of Jan, Eastern Naga Revolutionary Council, that is ENRC, and NNC or FGN signed a merger agreement at Nokba village. Now, Isaac Muiva and Kaplang, knowing the harsh truth of some NNC leaders committing treason by accepting the Shillong Accord despite their opposition, the NNC or FGN was now a treacherous organization under the Shillong Accord, and a capitulation under Clause 3 of the Shillong Accord was not acceptable to the true sons of the Naga soil. Nagas were in fact betrayed by few traders within the NNC leadership. So owing to all those harsh truths, Isaac Muiva and SS Kaplang declared formation of the National Socialist Council of Nagalim in 1980 and its government in 1980, 2nd of February, that is Government of the People's Republic of Nagalim. Now, after the formation of the National Socialist Council of Nagaland in 1980, 4th of September, the NNC or FGN officially declared the expulsion of Isaac Enmuiva from NNC FGN. Then, with series of propaganda by the supporters of Shillong Accord, the judge leaders, the state government, all in collaboration with the government of India, the non-Accordists or the NSCN, were branded as communist, and Nagas as predominantly Christians headed communists. And this was the only tool left for India to divide the Nagas and to bring Naga Hills within Indian Union. And in fact, even the judge leaders were brainwashed by this Indian deceptive false propaganda. And following this, in 1980, 27 of September, joint forces of India, Burma, and the supporters of Shillong Accord, NNC FGN, attempt to eliminate NSCN, but failed. Then in 1981, 28 and 29 of August, the Naga National Workers' Convention was convened at Kohima, and Shillong Accord is condemned and abrogated. The main objective of this convention was to work for Naga national unity or for the unity of the Naga people. In 1988, 30 of April, SS Kaplang announced the formation of the National Socialist Council of Nagaland, Kaplang, thus leading to a split of NSCN into two groups, NSCN-IM and NSCN-K. Again, this was the work of India trying her best to weaken the Naga national movement by fragmenting the Nagas into pieces so as to bring Nagas within the Indian Union. But truth cannot be dissolved in the thin air just like that. The younger Naga generations are more aware of our history, and the true sons of the Naga soil will keep fighting till the sun turns grey in the lap of the universe. And clearly, there are records of SS Kaplang led NSCN K, supported by both Indian agents and the then Chief Minister of Nagaland S.C. Jamir, to fight against his own brother Isaac and Muiva led NSCN IM. Then from 1988, 7 of August, second president's rule is imposed in Nagaland for 5 months and 18 days. And in 1990, 30 of April, Ezat Fiso, the president of NNC, passed away in exile. Now, following the death of Ezat Fiso in exile, in 1990, 1st of May, Adino Fiso is made the president of NNC by the supporters of Shillong Accord within NNC FGN. And she was also the daughter of the late president Ezat Fiso. Now, even after the breakaway of NSCN from NNC or FGN, there were still sections of NNC leaders within NNC FGN who were against the Shillong Accord, while half the section supporting it. The supporters of Shillong Accord made Adino Fiso the president of NNC FGN, while the non-accordists or those NNC leaders opposing the Shillong Accord, they elected Koto Yenden as the president of NNC in 1990, thus leading to another split within NNC on the lines of supporting and opposing the Shillong Accord. Thus, NNC is again divided into accordist group and non-accordist group. And as a matter of fact, Shillong Accord didn't bring about any solution to the Naga people. It only ignited more fragmentation and more division among the united Nagas. And Shillong Accord was in fact a deceptive, blunt device by Indian Intelligence Bureau to suppress the Nagas, and church leaders were used to implement this deception in the name of peace. And for that reason, I feel that church should not directly involve in politics other than upholding the notion Nagaland for Christ. So as in case of the Shillong Accord, church had direct influence in the signing of the Shillong Accord, and above that, church persuaded Naga nationalists to accept Indian or Hindustan constitution, and that was the most ironic role played by the Naga church in the Shillong Accord. And all this were done in the name of peace. And this only created more hatred and more division among the united Nagas.